I know a bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
And they started to investigate, and I don't remember anything else that became of it.
So, like, I will say if I'm remembering correctly, last night in character was the fucked up dream night.
Yes,
And
in character, the previous night was fucked up dream night.
Because of that, everybody was angry and annoyed to various degrees and like sleeping in to try and overcome the sleeplessness that came from that. And then Feyre and Wisteria had their out on the town for the morning because they were the only two up. And then came back shortly before lunchtime. Wist went back to her clinic because she had some shit to do. And Ashley, Clint, and Feyre were at the tavern. And a big fucking explosion happened outside. And all the dogs got sent to the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre took off after somebody that was running away from everything. Meanwhile, Ashley and Clint started investigating the actual explosion. And found there's like 5 or 6 people that were dead, including a hand, like, I want to say it was multiple Dentarum people, snake people, snake tattoo people.
That.
And
Yeah, 11 people total.
Yeah, and then the rest of them were like, or most of the rest of them were like regulars to Troll Skull Alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Joe had like a magic see into the past device that showed him showed some guy tossing like a necklace of fireballs at us, basically.
And that was Feyre, as she was chasing the person, they discarded, like, she saw something get thrown into a bin, picked it up, it was a necklace of fireballs, found that there was a street urchin kid that had picked up the necklace initially, but ran away scared from the explosion, and said somebody else had dropped the necklace. And that has a handful of beads left, but several of them were thrown. And when she
wasn't there like a glowing guy or something like that? I seem to remember something about a glowing guy.
Well, when she got back to like tell Ashley and Clint about the necklace, was also when the fucking Griffin police arrive. And so the three of them clear out, and from the rooftops is where Clint had the vision.
Yeah.
Fancy magic item that lets him see 15 minutes into the past or some shit. But he
up
could
to
not,
one day.
Up to one day.
At any point of time.
But he has to know where to look to try and get the most out of it, and he could not see the face of the person that threw the thing. However, they did take off in the direction of Seaward, so Fancy Town.
Fancyburg.
Yeah, rich people quarter. And so the rogues were planning on heading off that direction and maybe being able to pick up a rosette along the way and possibly a whist along the way. Because Rosette would be coming from that direction. And the street urchin got sent to Wisteria's clinic because he was scared and freaked out, and Feyre's like, okay, well, he doesn't need to go back to Troll Skull right now because his friends are probably dead, and they were dead. But Whist has some place that's relatively safe that you can just, like, calm down and, like, double check that you are not horrendously scarred or injured somehow that I don't know.
Plus one child.
Throwing out all of the plans to go into the sewers.
So, where were you guys going?
Well, there was initially talk of going to the sewers.
So, do you guys want me to give you, like, because you guys are not taking notes, do you want me to give you a quick recap of all of the clues?
Yeah.
All right. I'd ask that you write this down. Plus one child to its inventory. Why am I suddenly encumbered?
Let me find. Hold
You
on.
are over encumbered. You are over encumbered.
Wisp pat
You
in her
cannot fast
pockets.
travel while over encumbered.
Pat in your pockets. It's like, what? What do I have? Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Though at the same time, probably shouldn't trust me to write it down, because even if I write it down, doesn't mean I'm going to remember where this paper is.
I got my notepad open.
All right. Everyone ready?
Yes.
All right. So, from the crime scene, 11 dead total. Five of them regulars. Wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I can't fucking math. Sorry, 6 of them regulars. Of the 5 strangers, 4 of them were in armor, leather armor.
Does the leather armor part matter?
Yes.
Is it like distinct leather armor, like a uniform?
Not distinct leather armor, but the one stranger that was not in leather armor was the dwarf who had sewer mud on his boots.
I'm sorry. How does that relate to the armor?
I'm fucking getting there.
Okay.
Now, the ones with armor are the ones that you spotted the black winged snake tattoo on. All right. Now, for the witnesses, Fala said she saw someone limp away from the explosion after rifling through one of the bodies. The Karen noble stated that she saw the person who caused the explosion, and she is convinced it was not a human. It was more like a puppet.
That's where I got the glowing guy from. Okay.
Was the puppet glowing?
No.
Maybe he wasn't glowing, but I remember there was something different about him. So close enough.
What was that? The blob noble?
Karen.
The
noble.
Karen noble.
The what?
Karen.
A Karen. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What
That
does that
actually
mean?
interviewed witnesses. The noble was
give her,
being a
like-
Karen.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Karen was like a fucking lineage or
No.
or some shit.
I mean, it might be a lineage. That'd be fun. A whole
She's-
fucking noble family.
Yeah.
She was wanting to talk and make it all about her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I gave her some silver for the information, and she looked like she had never been more offended in her life.
Okay, the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Walks away without taking it. But yeah, she is convinced that it was not a man, it was a puppet. It looked like a puppet without strings, and she was very dramatic about it. And then Martin Trek, the boy, saw the explosion, ducked behind a barrel, heard a plop in the barrel, found Fireball necklace, ran to his fort to hide and process trauma. That is brand new, still in the wrapping. He is now Fireball necklace-less. I think Feyre traded him? Or paid for it or some shit?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something. She knows how to speak street rat.
It's her native tongue.
Mm-hmm. Now, putting all the clues together, Feyre, Clint, and Ashley put together that the figure was on the roof and headed in a certain direction, and know that the figure headed in towards Seaward. Essentially, it headed northwest-ish.
Amy, I think you mean toward.
I think you mean
It headed
towards.
in a northwestern direction.
It is a joke on the
I know.
toward. Okay.
I know. So it moved in a northwestern direction.
That's what I'd be doing sometimes too.
But yes, those are the main clues that were gathered. And I want to just make sure that you all have the pieces to look back on later. All good?
Sure.
Thor?
I said sure.
Oh.
You dare invoke the god of lightning at this time?
Alright, so now they have that out of the way. We're going to start with Rosette and Whist, or one of them. They both had eventful mornings/evenings, whatever the fuck it is. Whist had a pretty nice morning, actually.
Yeah, we still had a nice time. She's
Mhm.
discovered that she's rich.
She did discover that she's rich. So I'd like to ask, Iris or Whist? Sorry, Rosette or Whist? Sorry, I was looking at things on my screen.
I whist.
The favorite period.
I whist. Do either of y'all have a preference on who goes first, or should I flip a coin?
I have a preference to see the notes that were just taken by someone.
You can go ahead, Kara.
I had the feeling that you would not want to go first, Iris.
When do I ever want to
Iris.
go first?
It's okay,
Yeah.
you can throw me under the bus.
I can flip a
I-
coin. I have the power of coin. I have a
God,
nice
Iris.
shiny gold coin right here. I have a whole stack of them, actually.
Yeah, I'm fine with going first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. So, we're going to go over to Whist. Now, you just got back to your clinic. After a very nice morning, you discovered you're rich. You learned how to throw a punch. You discovered some bartering skills. You've had a pretty good morning. You have found a sense of deeper friendship with someone, and it's very nice. What's Whist doing?
Oh, she does have an actual job.
Mhm.
So I think that after having a fun morning, she's heading back to the clinic, albeit with a new spring in her step and feeling pretty confident about herself, actually. And I
Mhm.
think every few steps, she kind of opens her purse, looks down at the hunk of metal, wonders, closes it, looks at hunk of metal, closes it. She just can't seem to figure it out.
Well, it's there, staring back at you. Like it always has, but this time, you actually know it's more than just a hunk of metal. Feel like while you're doing your job, you're seeing to patients, signing new contracts, you're helping extract a pesky thorn out of someone's knee that they just can't get out. When there's a slight shake, ripple in the cup of water you have nearby, and kind of hear in the distance a noise of some sort. It's a few blocks away. But something did just happen. Not too far away. But I imagine it's pretty far. I kind of envision these blocks as like New York City blocks.
Like avenues?
Yeah.
Ah.
So like huge.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still hear it, but it's not like movie bang in your face,
Mm.
I'm sure you're aware of what the sound of a something happening 3 blocks away sounds like.
Because something did explode 3 blocks away from me once.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence you put your token right there for her shop. So. Just coincidence, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's enough to get your attention, but it's not emergency,
I think Wist, if she's helping somebody, will put her focus on that first and just
Mm-hmm.
make a mental note to go check on that once things are done. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't really afford to split your attention too much when you're doing delicate work, and there's a lot of shit you can fuck up in a neat.
Yep, whole lot of things. So, I'd like you to roll me a medicine.
Sure. Let's see. Medicine. There we go.
All right, Wist. You are a professional, one of the best doctors you've ever come across. But this patient is incredibly difficult. You see, the issue here is that they want this thing out of their knee. It hurts a lot. It's paining them. However, they are very, deathly afraid of, needles and pointy instruments and pretty much anything doctor coded. So, in the process of trying to help this person and, any, numbing cream or ointments you make to try and help with the pain and trying to extract the needle with your tweezers, you essentially have this person right before your eyes over the course of 45 minutes go through the 5 stages of grief. There's anger, there's bargaining, there's denial, just every single step, a solid 5 to 10 minutes. But eventually, they close their eyes, they grit their teeth, they hold on to a pillow that they stole from the waiting room. And they let you remove it, and it's something that's the size of I'd say about a Tic Tac.
Huh.
Something very, very small, but very, very sharp. And you see why it was so painful is because it wasn't just a regular splinter. This thing was kind of serrated.
Ah, it was covered in burrs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you feel a little ounce of sympathy for this person. As it just let out a sigh of relief, tears in their eyes. And their eyes are still closed, though, as they still hold on to the pillow. Just. Is it over?
Wist will nod once, then realize they can't see her. Yeah? We found the problem. Seems to be right, little bugger. Are you wanting to keep it?
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Can you throw it away?
All right. The Wist will toss it away and will do so silently, so as not to give them any indication of the size of the thing.
And close their eyes. They go to open their eyes and they close their eyes again, putting a hand over their eyes, kind of wiping away the tears. Okay, how much blood is there?
Not too much. She will start dabbing away at it, but as she does, she goes, "You know, there is a surprise here for you. If you're interested."
Head tilt.
Why don't you pick up that pillow and pass your hand over it?
She does, slowly.
As she's doing that, Wisteria is putting the finishing touches on dabbing this thing over and like applying stitches or anything if needed. But this pillow is one of those ones that, like, you know, you pass your hand over it and the scales, the little like scales flip over and it's a different design. And I think on the first side, it's like a regular, you know, just artistic series of geometric patterns or whatever the shit. I think the other side is something deranged, and I want to say that it's like Nick Cage, but he's not real in this setting.
It's Volo.
Yes, it's Volo. It's Volo, but it's like Volo in a funny outfit, you know?
It's just regular Volo.
Exactly.
She slowly cracks open her eyes, kind of doing that thing where you don't want to see a horror movie. So you kind of just like hold your hand in front of it to block out the movie, but you can still kind of see the corners. She looks. And she looks at it and she squints and she kind of drops her hand a little bit, kind of tilts her head. She's like, "Wait, is that Arthur?"
Why don't you take a closer look? You want to be sure?
There might be blood. Is it? I'm not gonna die, right?
Nay, you're not gonna die. Not while I'm around. But there's also nae blood to be seen. And if you wanted to focus on old Volo there for a minute, perhaps it would, you know, I think that there's something hidden in his clothing there. A wee button of some kind. I think that's why I was traded this one. You see, I reckon that this was banned, actually.
That piques her interest, and she just holds up the pillow and just squints, trying to look at the button.
Now, it occurs to me that Wist can't lie. So there is a tiny button somewhere on there.
What does it do? You tell me.
I was thinking that it was like not like a physical button, but he's wearing a button in the illustration, and that got these things recalled. Whatchamacallit? The Tarask is a thing in 5e, right?
Yep.
How about a button that says Tarask did nothing wrong?
Oh my god. She squints, holding the pillow this way and that, trying to find it. And when she does, she goes, "Oh, I found it! Oh, I heard about this actually."
That's right. They call it canceling here, I think.
Right, I think his last book didn't do well because of this.
Are you a fan of his?
No,
Wist finishes up the stitching and draws back and tilts her head. I suppose I'll have to find a new home for him some other day.
nods and fits with the pattern, hiding and stowing him away, and revealing him and hiding him again. And she puts the pillow down. She looks at her leg, which I imagine is bandaged by now.
Yes, it's bandaged by now. Wist
Okay.
is all done.
Okay. Okay, so am I gonna be able to walk normally? I'm not losing my leg, right?
Aye, so you will. Walk normally, that is.
Okay, okay.
Wist has a moment where she like hastily adds the second bit. If I were amputating, you would have been unconscious. So you see, it's a real minor problem.
Okay, I am going to go to bed and forget this ever happened.
Wist nods. See that you do. A day's bed rest and you'll be right as rain.
Okay. Is there a procedure for the bandages and removing them, or do I need to come back here to get them removed?
You can just take them off tomorrow.
Okay, at what time do we need to take them off?
After you wake, wipe them down with a bit of soapy water.
Okay, that's not going to reopen things, right?
Nay, just pat it down after you're done.
Okay, can I get that in writing?
Of course.
Okay, I can do this.
Wist sets about writing.
Yeah. She stands up and kind of flexes her knee a bit. Okay. Once Wist finishes writing, she shakes Wist's hand.
Wist shakes back. You did great.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nightshade. This is still shaking your hand, by the way. This is very, very helpful, and thank you so much, and being so kind and very patient. I am going to go
I'm
now.
always patient with my patients.
Huh.
Wist grins.
Right. Thank you very, very much. And right, as promised for payment. Do you want to roll on your table?
Sure. Let me pull it up here. Where is the Roll20? 710.
Do 1,000. Goddamn.
I don't think this is what she's paying me in, but it would be very funny.
What is it?
A sword made to harness the power of demon's blood, but the demon's blood is all gone. I don't think this poor woman is the demon blood sword type. It's very funny. Okay, all right.
You know what? No. Let's roll with it.
All right.
He has it in a box. It's in a hefty box that's kind of sealed shut. It has multiple locks on it. It's kind of like a I would say like I don't know, one of those like music cases sized. So it's not like a big chest. It's kind of like narrow and slim of a box. And she just pats it once and then kind of flinches away from it before she can do the second pat, as if she remembered what it was. It's like, okay, you can take that. I really don't want it. It's kind of scary and it's very sharp, and I don't like the thought of blood, so you can have it. I don't remember the keys. I threw them away in somewhere. I don't remember where, so you're gonna have to get someone to crack that open for you, but I don't want that, so you can have it. I'll take the papers now.
Whist hands over the papers, takes the case, and goes, really is a strange thing to give a girl on her 16th birthday, isn't it?
It's something to do with my family, but I can't. I can't stand the blood, so I don't want it, and I would rather someone else have it, but no one wants to take it, so you can have it.
It'll have a good home here. You have a good day, eh?
You too, you too, you too. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening and rest of your life.
Mysteria will chuckle and put the sword case on her desk.
Mm-hmm. And she leaves. And dude, this thing is locked tighter than fucking Alcatraz. Alcatraz. I almost said albatross.
Albatross.
Yeah,
Locked
like the
tighter than a
bird.
bird.
Yeah. No, this thing is locked tighter than fucking Alcatraz, alright? This got so many fucking padlocks and chains and fucking rope and shit. She did not want this thing somehow wiggling free, as if the sword could do that.
Whist looks at it for a bit. Then I assume like she could probably fashion some carrying straps from the rope and such.
Probably, yeah.
She's gonna go ahead, put those on, look outside the window, saying to herself, oh, I bet the others could open it.
Enrichment for a bunch of rogues.
She takes a look out the window.
Mm-hmm. There's a knock at the door.
Whist turns. Aye, you can come in.
Not hear anything, but there's footsteps. Is she like in the area or like still in her office?
She's still in her office. She was heading to look outside the window, but she's still in her office.
There's just a slight creak of the office door cracking open. But it doesn't open all the way. It just slightly creaks as if there's a presence behind it.
Whist turns kind of slowly. Aye, is everything all right? I didn't bite, you know.
And the door creaks open a little more. And looking up, you don't see anything. And then you look lower and you spot the face of a young boy. I found art. I like this one. Kind of scrappy, scruffy looking.
Aw.
There's some soot on the edges of his clothes and his hair and his cheek. And he looks at you, kind of suspicious of you.
Whist will turn away from the window, take a couple steps forward, and crouch down just a little bit so that they're eye to eye. And who would you be?
So, where's the goat?
Wisteria laughs. Oh, you're looking for Donald, are you? Ah, he's the right celebrity around these parts. Let's hope he never gets cancelled.
He looks at you, kind of confused.
Right this way, lad.
The dog lady said that you had a goat and to come here, so I'm here.
Dog lady.
He nods.
Wisp starts racking her brain. What does this child mean by this? The goat sound effect.
Does she appear confused?
She does appear confused.
You know, the one with all the dogs. She told me.
Oh! With the horns.
He nods.
Right, okay. That's Farah. Well, any friend of Farah's is a friend of mine. You can call me Wisteria.
He looks at you and as if he's cataloging the name. Okay, so weird lady is Wisteria, dog lady is Farah.
And the goat is Donald. Not nae Donald. Donald.
Goat.
Wisteria leads him downstairs toward the garden where Donald is peacefully grazing, one imagines, or perhaps not so peacefully, as the case may be.
Why does it feel safer in the garden? Much more homey. Cozy, even. And the kid looks at the goat and looks at Whist. So why do you have a goat?
Do people need reasons to have a goat? I thought this was normal for humans.
He shrugs. I'm not the goat police, so I don't know.
Wisteria looks at him very seriously. Are there goat police?
There might be. I don't know. There's police for everything.
Wisteria looks toward the goat, frowns. They'll nae take Donald from me.
While I'm here, can I pet the goat?
Oh, aye. You can pet the goat. You can help yourself to some of those oranges if you like. I can fix you some tea. Are you a cousin? I suppose you wouldn't be a cousin if you didn't know a name. And yeah, just a friend of Farah's? How?
He kind of looks at her and he squints, kind of a glare. He's like, I don't make friends. I make business partners.
Oh? How old are you? 25?
Yes.
Wisteria.
It's very obvious, like 12-year-old boy.
Wisteria nodding. Oh, it's hard to tell with mortals. I think I'm getting better.
Does she believe him?
I think she does.
Good. I never thought I'd get this far. That's good right now.
Well, I suppose you're a lad. I suppose you're a sir then. Would you be fancying a cup?
No, tea is gross.
There's a beat from Wisteria and a bleat in the distance at this. And she processes. Oh, okay. Are you fond of juices?
Do you have apple juice?
Against my will, yes. I'll fetch you some.
He nods. And then just sits down next to Donald and just pets Goat until Whisk comes back.
Whist comes back with apple juice that I imagine she keeps on hand entirely to placate the weird apple guy.
I forgot about him. That makes sense. That tracks.
I imagine this is in like a novelty cup, though. Like it's not like a regular glass. I imagine that this is let's see. Oh man, if this wasn't okay, Amy, will you allow me to editorialize an animal into existence?
Yes.
This is in the shape of an extremely rotund and faintly glowing frog. This is called a globe frog.
You don't even have to ask me if it's frog related.
Yeah, it's a floaty, glowy frog mug that she hands to this kid filled with apple juice.
And he sips at the juice. And then he pets the goat. And he's silent for a bit. Unless Whist has questions.
No, Whist is content to let this kid vibe here.
Well, he vibes for a bit, just sipping the juice and petting the goat. And when the juice is like gone, kind of cradles the cup in his lap, focuses on the goat, and then just offhandedly kind of asks a question, not even looking at Whist, very focused on Donald. So, you're a doctor.
Aye, that I am.
Can you bring people back to life?
There's a pause as Wisteria suddenly realizes she needs to be careful about what she says. And she clears her throat. Well, that's a difficult question. The upfront answer is no. But perhaps in a little, if I were to apply more time to such studies, I could figure something out. But it isn't really something people are fond of doing. You see, when you do that, sometimes, well, they don't come back the same as you knew them.
But you're a doctor. You're Dr. Knight, whatever.
Whist nods, does not correct him.
You're supposed to be able to fix everything. And
I can fix most things. But there's limits to everything out there. Even the sun eventually is gonna burn out, and after that, well, who knows? But no, right now I can't bring people back. If that's what you're after, you'll be needing to talk to a different kind of cleric. One a bit more powerful than me.
he's quiet and kind of focuses on Donald.
Whist looks at the kid, thinks for a second. Do you like flowers?
My friend did.
Whist nods. What was their favorite kind?
Something pink and girly and smelled funny.
Whist thinks for a second. How about you and me take a walk in the garden? We'll see if we can find a nice flower then. A place to plant it, too.
Okay. Oh, I have a note. Hands you a note.
Wisteria presses X to read note.
It's just a note from Farah.
Yeah, there was an explosion.
See, I'm gonna need the reverb on that, as if it's playing over while Whist is reading it.
It's like, hold on. Syria, there's been an explosion in Troll Skull. This kid was near it. He is okay, however, I think several of his friends got caught in the middle of it. Pretty sure they're nice and crispy and dead.
Crispy! Whist will read the note, raise a very slight brow, quickly close it up, and tuck it away in, among her things as she starts leading this kid further into the garden where there is a barking dog in the background.
It's a neighbor.
And yeah, it's the neighbors. This dog has been barking at other dogs for the past 20 minutes. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
But she will lead the kid further into the garden, and she's going to try to find if there's a flower that seems to fit this bill.
Yeah. It's not hard. You find one. He kind of stops and he kind of stares at it even.
Whist will stop and stare alongside him. And then she'll say, let me think of how to phrase this here for a second.
Not like Feyre phrased it?
Not like favorite phrase.
Such a crispy, well done halfling.
Yeah, not quite like that.
Oh, your friend ate shit, son.
He's a right piece of bacon now. I'm just trying to see what my spells are here too, or if actually, Amy, will you let me use my new wistful creation ability to bullshit something here?
Yes.
Okay. Whist goes, how about the two of us make a deal? You tell me about your friend, and I will give you a little token of them. Something that can help you remember. And the flower, too, is part of it.
He looks suspicious again. He kind of sizes Whist up.
Whist holds up a finger and goes, Fae canny lie.
I thought Dog Lady was the Fae.
Nay, she's fae, but that's why we get along so well.
What's the token?
Whist will kneel down in front of the flower, and she will reach down into the dirt, and she shapes it, takes a big mound of it, and shapes it with her hands into something that looks like a flower pot. And she then waves her hands over it a little bit, makes some arcane gestures, shapes it, and as she does, the flower pot starts to get shaped into this like pale pinkish thing. And she goes, "That's a wee bit of magic, but what I'm thinking is we'll be able to put a few of your memories of your friend in here, and that way, perhaps, when you hold it and you think of them, you'll be able to hear their voice from your memories." Above table, it's the idea is that it's something that you can feed a memory into while it's being fired, so to speak, and then it will play like that voice or something back. It's sort of like one of those teddy bears, you know, where you can record like a grandparent's voice or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
He just looks at it, and he, I don't know, kind of leans his head forward a bit, his hair kind of falling in front of his eyes, as he just nods.
Whist continues shaping the clay. Well, if it's to your liking, let's hear it, eh?
You done? Okay.
If it's not one dog, it's the other.
Sorry, Cyril has awoken from his nap and had an itch.
He heard there was a dog.
He did.
Hey, Sailor.
Hey, Cyril. Good boy. The kid just sits down a bit. He kind of just pulls at the grass. Well, there's a bunch of them. They ran a store nearby, and they were really nice. They liked to play music. They all had a lot of flowers around. Smelled really weird in there. They had a lot of food that they liked to share. They didn't mind us hanging around. They always checked on me when it was cold, and always gave me jackets and blankets, and really nice people. Yeah, dog lady said they might be hurt, but I saw them, and I still remember how they sounded when it happened, and I think they might be gone. So if you could, you're a doctor, right?
Whist nods, and as he's speaking, she continues weaving the spell into what was quickly becoming a actual solid object, with varying designs relating to the things that he's named. There's something like a musical staff for the music. There's these recurring pedal motifs interwoven with it for the flowers. There's these kind of pillowy shapes here and there too. and just like little fruits and stuff for food, all being engraved as he's talking. And Whist lets out a small sigh. I think they're no gonna be coming home, but being as I am a doctor, that means that you are now my primary patient. So, I'm doing what I can for you, she says. And doing that means that we focus on what we'd like to remember, not the things probably better left forgotten. The music, the flowers, the quotes, they sound like wonderful people.
He just nods and kind of just hugs his knees. But could you try and save them if they are alive? Can you promise to try?
Whist looks at him very solemnly. I promise. We'll finish this up, and I'll go take a look.
Can I stay with Donald?
Of course you can. And Whist, as she's finishing up these enchantments, leans forward and goes, and you know what? This'll make you the man of the house when people come asking. And that means, Wisteria leans closer, you can tell them to fuck off.
It looks like you just handed this kid the greatest piece of candy in the fucking world.
Wisteria nods with a small smile, and as she finishes up the enchantment here, she will gently reach over and try and repot this plant for him, hand it over to Child, and wait for him to take it.
Slowly takes it.
And she goes, right, so when you run your hands over any of these little motifs here, and you think real hard, you should be able to hear something.
He takes it and he sets it in front of him. He doesn't put his hands on it. Not yet.
And Whist will nod, respect this, and go, so, I'll be going now, see what I can do, and until then, you can have your fun with Donald here, and if anybody comes looking for me, you can tell them to sort off whatever way you want. Get creative with it.
With a small smile as he scratches Donald behind the ears. It's very quiet, but you do hear very, very quiet and faint. Thanks.
Of course. What's a doctor for? And Whist will nod to the kid because she feels like waving is probably not a good option here, and start heading over to the to Troll Skull again.
Mm-hmm. You see smoke in the distance. You see people are already whispering about the explosion that happened. You see guards are in the area as you get closer and closer and closer. And going to say that Whist arrives on the scene, and she sees a group up on the roof across the street. Before she rejoins the group, we're going to do a little bit of another rewind. This one a lot earlier / later, depending on how you look at it. Because last night, everyone had some very interesting dreams, and by interesting I mean not fun. And Rosette awoke from her dream in a bit of a panic.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
It was not fun.
She had. I feel like she hadn't intended on passing out because she had been writing a bit and whatnot the night prior. Or, like, earlier, I guess. But after the dream and who she encountered in it, she needed to get some help. So she's gonna sneak out and wander around for a bit. Clear her head.
Alright. Is she on street level or is she on rooftops?
Go rooftops.
Alright. How far does she wander? How many hours do you think she spends?
It's probably what, like 1, 2 in the morning kind of thing?
Yeah, about.
Probably just kind of wandered for like an hour and a half. Kind of probably unintentionally in a direction she didn't. So in a direction she subconsciously went to. It wasn't something she pointed out to go to, essentially.
Her feet kind of end up taking her somewhere familiar, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Do you want to describe what that place looks like? Or more so, does she use like the front door or
Nah, she'll sneak under the window.
a window?
No point in waking anyone. But it's a large house. Pretty decently sized property. But she's not paying too much mind of it. She more tries to hop up to one of the like second story, third story building or floors or whatever. Do a little spider crawl. And jump in through the window into a room. She's been there a lot. She's pretty accustomed to it. It has some kind of fairy lights on the ceiling / walls, so it has a bit of like dimness, but it's not like completely pitch black. And when she enters, they kind of click on a bit. She kind of goes straight to the bed, and it's a very nice and soft plush bed with quite a few pillows. It's not overly fancy, but it's very comfortable. And she'll go and kind of sit up against the headboard and pull her knees to her chest and just kind of lean on them, kind of thinking.
As she leans there thinking about the dream and what it could mean and who was there and each role that whoever was there played, including her, there's a creak of the door behind her. And there's footsteps of someone approaching, and there's a slight shift in the bed as someone sits down next to her.
She doesn't she doesn't seem surprised at all or really bothered. She just kind of sits there, glances at them, gives a small smile.
Mm.
Very tired smile.
Yeah, there is a equally tired smile back as you see the familiar face of Rainier holding up a book, and as he sits down, he opens said book and continues reading.
She'll lean against him and read with him.
Right.
Get cozy. Book sounds good.
Doesn't say anything, just continues reading. It's his typical type of book he likes to read, one of his more guilty pleasures. It's historical fiction. You see that he was in the middle of a very dramatic sword fight going on. And he just silently reads and waits for some signal to turn the page until the chapter is finished. Before he just pulls out a bookmark, slides it onto the page, and just softly closes the book.
She would have been pretty quiet as well. I mean, kind of is. And kind of reads with them. She appreciates the company and the silence. It is comforting.
Mm. Mm. He breaks the silence as he stows the book away. Says, "How does tea sound?"
She nods and replies with her mental link. Tea sounds lovely.
He nods and starts heading down stairs to the kitchen. And he gets a pot ready, and gets the special fancy cups, gets the cream, gets the sugar, even a little pack of very fancy cookies to go with it. And
Midnight snack.
Yeah, little snack with the tea. He brings it over to a little table. You see that he's still dressed for like daytime. He's still got his day clothes on. But his hair is tied up in a bun rather than in its usual, just free flowing and just combed. It's kind of messy, even. And he kind of just sits down and passes the cup. If you'd like, you can roll inside.
Okay. Let's see. He throws that sheet up. Don't know why I didn't do that. Hello, smart. I have my dice this time.
Hey, let's go.
You said insight?
Yep.
So that is an 18 plus
Plus?
5.
Never mind. Yeah, don't worry about it. 18 will do it. So, you see that he is tired, capital T, tired as fuck, capital AF as fuck. It's man bun hours, and it's like 3 a.m., and he's not in PJs. He still got his fucking boots on. I still got his jacket and shit. Like, man's been up. And he just sips at the teacup. And just looks over, also taking note of Rosette's appearance. He doesn't say anything, but he just sip tea.
Returned sipping. You look quite tired.
And you look pretty disheveled.
Care to want to talk about it?
Just a bit of lack of sleep. I've been busy with work. Do you want to talk about what happened with you?
This night, maybe. Just need to clear my head a bit.
Sip. Can tell you this for free. With that 18 plus 5, he usually doesn't have trouble sleeping.
Recital. Eye him a bit. Before a slight glimmer kind of she'll eye him a bit and a slight glimmer pops into her eyes, a little light. Care for a game of 20 questions?
You know, we can't always do that. Like every time.
I mean, you're the one that doesn't want to talk.
I mean, you could talk just as easily, but I'm taking the first question. How's the tea?
It's not bad. It's pretty bland, to be honest. I don't know. Is this new?
It's a new brand. It was recommended. It's supposedly supposed to calm you down, make it easier to fall asleep.
She looks at the tea, sniffs a little bit, takes a tiny, tiny sip. Just the whole, like, the to taste it kind of thing. This won't do. You mind if I grab a few things from the kitchen?
Be my guest, but if it's bad, you can just say it's bad. I'll get a different brand.
It's not bad, but it could be better if you're trying to get some sleep. Speaking of which, how much sleep have you gotten in the last week? She kind of says as she rummages through the cupboards.
Kind
Or thinks.
of pulls up a cookie off the plate and kind of taps it against the table, rotating it. I would probably guess, I don't know, 10 hours.
Rosette had, like, grabbed a couple things from the cupboard and was, like, slightly portioning it out. But she stops upon hearing them. So we're gonna make this a double then. And she brings all of the jars, the whole jars of the couple things with her.
Don't you think that's a little excessive?
Don't you think staying up that long is a little excessive?
Sips tea. So what happened in your nightmare?
She was mixing She was pouring some of the powders and whatnot into the tea, some dried stuff, and she slowly pauses. I was trapped in a cage. My parents put me there. Pretty on the nose, to be honest. A little too on the nose.
Is that a hum?
Yeah. It it wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't for the unwanted help. She continues kind of mixing some of the dried leaves into the hot water. So, what's kept you up this so long? Is it work or your side gig?
A little of both, mostly neither. It's just there's someone bothering me and who won't leave me alone while I'm also trying to work and work the side gig, so who is his unwanted help from?
This may be hard to believe, but the Queen of the Fae,
Are you,
Titania.
are you serious?
I have no reason to joke about this. But I guess a bit of explaining is due here.
Yeah. How did this happen?
So, you know how Ashley is back, right?
He nods.
Well, do you remember the rings? They were linked.
He nods again.
Ashley seemed to have misplaced it while in the Feywilds, and I was hoping to see who had gotten a hold of it. And when I connected to it, I was speaking to her high ass herself.
No.
She insisted that she was going to be getting Ashley back.
Oh, no.
Regardless of our previous relationship, he is still a friend,
Oh my
and
god.
I would not allow that.
Rosie, please tell me you didn't just...
She didn't take the news well.
Oh my god.
So now, this, and she pulls at the necklace, won't come off. Pretty sure I'm cursed.
You're cursed.
Well, according to what Dr. Nightshade said. She is helping me with this, though, so it's not a big deal.
He looks just lost for a second. Before he just like puts a hand over his mouth and just has it slide upwards over his face before resting against one of his temples. You are going to give me gray hairs, and I'm going to blame you, and you solely.
Come on, you're exaggerating here. It'll all just blow over.
I don't think that's what happens when you mess with the queen of all the Fae. Like the Fae, the queen.
Well, I'd much rather it be me than someone I care about. Simple as that. Here, have some tea. Slide over a new cup of edited tea.
He'll take the tea, but mostly out of just like autopilot. As he just looks at Rosette and just shakes his head side to side. Yeah, I think if first Spelljammer ship crash, and now I think you've had a worse time than me by miles and leagues above me.
It's not that big of a deal. This only affects me and maybe another person. But your work affects the whole city. I think that takes more. That's way more important.
Compared to the queen of the fucking Fae, it's not that big. Kind of sips his tea.
What is she gonna do? Come here and attack?
She can do anything she wants. That's kind of what being a queen means.
Even nobility can't do anything they want. You should know that.
Fae don't go by our rules.
Yeah, they also get bored easily. So there's a high likelihood she'll just forget about me.
And never mind. Just sips his tea.
Enough about me, though.
Can you repeat that?
Enough about me, though.
Oh.
Who's this person that's been causing you trouble?
Just this dwarf that had ties to my father. Something I'd rather not get involved in.
Who is he and what did he do?
That is 2 questions. It's my turn.
I believe you asked plenty of questions just now.
Are you
Starting
really...
with, are you serious? She kind of signs it out, slightly mocking.
He just looks at her, unimpressed.
You're lucky I'm just counting it as 1 question. 1 extra.
I see we're being nitpicky now, but fine. His name is Dalakar. He's been following me around, being a pest and harassing me for the past week now. He was here a few hours ago. He was banging on the door. It would not stop. He sounded desperate, like there was something urgent he needed, but I'm not going to answer the door for someone tied to my father. Even if they beg for help like that.
If you want, I can go speak to them.
No.
Are you sure? I mean,
I am very sure, actually.
Well, do you want me to see if Venti and Borea could maybe convince this fella to leave you alone? I'm sure they can scare him.
I'm sure they can very easily, but I do not want to drag you or Venti and Berea into all of this because I don't even know what this is. I don't
Well,
want.
what about someone unaffiliated?
And drag someone else into whatever that is. Rosette, I don't want to drag anyone into whatever it is that my father's supporters are scheming. Or let Dalakar or any of the others know that you or the others are close to me and know me, because then they're not going to leave you alone. And that's the last thing I want to do.
What are they going to do? One of the better things about my family name is I get very good security. Very good security detail.
You do, I'm not going to deny that. But what if this gets back to your parents?
Well, it won't. They have surprisingly backed off and haven't really questioned me being at the Skull Skull Manor. It's actually a little strange, but
He kind of stills for a second, and his mouth kind of widens a bit in like a sucking air through the teeth gesture.
what? She sets the tea down.
He kind of picks his teacup up and takes a sip from it.
Tapping.
About that, I'd like to preface this with you owe me one. Actually, for this, you owe me two.
Go on.
After the Spelljammer crash incident, you didn't really return home. And so I thought I would be a good friend. Again, you should probably owe me three for this, actually. And I went to talk to your parents about what happened, along with Venti and Borea. And your parents wanted you to return home immediately.
I didn't hear about this.
And that is because I spoke to them and I convinced them that it would be safer if you were staying here, where no one will expect you to be. And as far as your parents are concerned, you are staying here and not at the Troll Skull Manor. And you also do not leave the house ever, according to your parents, who have sent many gifts and many letters that I have taken the liberty to reply to for you. You're very lucky that my forgery is as good as it is.
Rosette just smiles and laughs a bit. I am so sorry.
So you owe me three.
You know, you could have told me. I would have at least I don't know, helped with the letters.
Yeah. I didn't want to ruin your fun, your freedom. You only really get to taste freedom for the first time once.
That's true. I
But-
really do owe you, though.
Right, because there is an entire new furniture and vanity set in this very loud pink in the storeroom if you want to use that one.
You've got to be kidding me.
There's also other things. They tried to send you a pet, but I put a stop to that.
What? Ugh.
Also, according to them, I am allergic to feathers, and that's why they could not send you a bunch of birds.
Rosette looks exhausted. I
It was
am
tea.
so sorry. Thank you, though. Thank you. You. Thank you. She is at a loss for words.
He just nods. He takes the thanks. He appreciates the thanks. He takes a sip of his tea, dips the cookie into the tea. Alright, well, it's my turn for questions. And I'm going to be nice and not count any of your questions as questions because I'm a good friend.
Of course.
On the Troll Skull and all the people there, are you happy being at the tavern?
Rosette doesn't answer immediately. She is thoughtful, and her kind of like joking smile and like the a bit of exaggerated like exhaustion mixed with the actual exhaustion kind of fades, and she becomes a little more serious. It's nice. It's comfortable. With him around, it's a bit difficult, but I'm happy enough to be around him, around all of them. They keep things interesting. But it's not necessarily preferred. But it could be worse. Definitely could be worse. A lot worse.
It could be worse, or it could be better. You know, you can try and look for things that are better. You don't have to just be glad things aren't worse. You don't have to settle for being just mildly content.
I don't want to push my luck, though.
Is it pushing your luck, or just realizing that you deserve to actually be happy for once with where you are?
Maybe things will get better at some point. But, for now it's okay.
Alright, but I hope that things do get better. But if they don't, remember that there is always the alternative.
Right. She is a little bit out of uh oh, her link kind of quiets a bit, but she nods. Right. Thank you. I do appreciate it, but if it comes to that, I'll remember.
He nods.
Thank you.
Just say the word.
I know.
And well, speaking of, well, not really speaking of things, I really just remembered because I actually got this back today. So, despite the fact that it's been awful for both of us, this is actually perfect timing. And he
What do you
reaches
mean?
into his coat pocket and he pulls out a box that's very long, about the size of like, I don't know, 6-inch box, very thin and sleek. And he holds it out to her.
Rosetta will take the box and open it.
And inside is a bracelet. One with very. Shut up. Fuck off, okay? In it is a bracelet. It's pretty. It's silvery, and I forgot my fancy descriptions of it, but it's very nice.
Oh, and you didn't have
It's
to.
star. Pretty sure it's like star themed. If I remember correctly, I forgot the art.
Yeah, granted, it's gorgeous. You really didn't have to. It's beautiful.
You're
You know
welcome.
you know you're too good to me, right?
And you do know that you're too good for me, right?
She just kind of rolls her eyes and silently chuckles.
Just sips tea, finishes the cup.
Ah, it seems you're done with your tea. Did you have any more questions? Because I'm pretty sure it's your turn.
It is my turn. Can I save those questions for later?
Yeah, sure.
He lets out a yawn.
If that's the case, though, she stands up and holds out her hand to him to, like, say, come with me.
He'll shove the rest of his cookie into his mouth and just very slowly chew as he stands up. See, there's like a slump in his shoulder. Very tired. It seems like all the lack of sleep is catching up to him now as he just takes Rosette's hand and not really paying attention to where he's going. He's just going to one step after her, let her lead wherever the fuck they're going. I don't know. He doesn't really care at the moment.
They are going to the couch.
Well, you lead him to the couch with no protest. The yawns are getting more and more frequent. His steps are getting slower and heavier.
She'll sit down on one end of the couch and grab, like, kind of a throw blanket while they're walking. And she'll sit down and pat her lap. Sleep. You really need the rest.
Is there any? I Oh man, I guess. Do I have a choice here? Can I say
Considering
no?
considering you've had 10 hours of sleep all week, I'm going to make sure you get plenty of rest.
He lets out another yawn that kind of just like racks through his entire body, looking like he's gonna protest and say that nah, he's fine, he's not tired. But he kind of stumbles a little bit on his feet, kind of sways. He's like, all right, I'll sit down for a little bit. And he sits and he slumps.
She will urge him to lay down, like she insisted, since he's already half asleep anyways.
It doesn't take long. The longer he sits down, the more asleep he is. And it's just kind of like a block of Legos where you kind of detach the base and then you can just move the block slowly down. It's kind of just like you just take hand on his shoulder and just maneuver him down with like very little protest.
Isn't that more comfortable?
It's just a grumble. Some noise. You're not really sure what it was.
She'll
He is
use.
out.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
She'll use Mage Hand to pull the blanket on him.
All right, but roll me perception first, as he is knocked out.
Okay. Where's my light? Where's my light? I can't see that. Oh, that's a 19. Not 19.
Jesus Christ. What's
Plus-
your modifier?
Plus 9. Or no, that's persuasion. Plus 5 for perception.
Okay, well. You see that as you lower him down and he lays down, and he kind of like, as you say, like, that's better, and he kind of grumbles and mumbles. He kind of raises up a hand to kind of rub at his face. And you see that there's residue on his hand. And as you look, you see that something Rosette would spot fucking anywhere. And that's the familiar smudge of makeup on his hand. And as you look down at him, you see that you get a closer look. He has a black eye. And as you pause and bring the blanket over, you notice that his sleeve kind of rolls up as he kind of stretches a bit, getting a little more comfortable as he's asleep. And you see that there's bruises on his wrist going up the arm where you can't see. And then as he kind of shifts, you see that there's a bit of space in between the buttons on his shirt. And you see that there's bandages on his abdomen and his side.
How well are those bandages put on?
They're on.
Can Rosette see any, like, a medicine kit or any basic stuff in the vicinity of Mage Hand?
What's the range on Mage Hand?
It is 30 feet.
You can roll me a d20. Call that a luck check. See if there's anything around.
Okay. That is, that's a 12.
DC wasn't high. You're looking for a 10. There is
Hey.
one. It does take some maneuvering, though. It's kind of just on the edge of your range. It's kind of like on a table in the kitchen, in a cabinet. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation. Opening the
Are
cabinet, removing it, bringing it down the hallway without knocking anything over.
Use stick to extend range of mage hand to get it closer.
Yeah.
She'll try and I mean, she's no doctor, but she's gonna channel her inner Wisteria and try and help him with some healing, or at least bandaging him up a bit.
You can roll me a medicine.
That is a 15 plus 2? 17?
That'll, yeah. Looking for a 15 there. So,
8.
it's not professional, but it's better than whatever the fuck he did. And he's
At
out
least it's better.
fucking cold. So there is very little protest. There is like some subconscious like flinching when you get too close to any of the wounds. And you see that he's got 2 stab wounds. One on his abdomen and one along his side that kind of just like sliced him on the side. And he's got a lot of bruising on his right arm going all the way up to his shoulder. But you apply the bandages. Any bleeding anything that was bled through, you change, you tighten it, you fasten it to the best of your ability. And he's out cold still. But he is in a bit of a better shape than when you found him.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
She probably didn't fully finish her trance, because elf. So I imagine she'll finish her trance while sitting there, kind of thing. And yeah, she'll probably leave in the morning. Get like a mage hand to pull a pillow and then do the slow Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Indiana
the
Jones
the
swap.
slow Indiana Jones swap of
Mm-hmm.
pillow for stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to wake him.
Alright. So you successfully maneuver Indiana Jones swap. I'm just gonna give that to you because, bro, you fucking knocked him out with the tea. You could have just fucking dumped him off the couch and he'd probably just barely fuss about it.
She'll leave a little note that says thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And leave. To head back to the inn.
Heading back to the inn. Halfway there, you also hear a noise in the distance, suspiciously in the direction of the tavern. You see smoke rise. You hear people talking about it, and in the very distance, some screams that stop shortly. On your way there, you also see that the city guard has mobilized in the area. And by the time you get there, where is the... Oh, here it is. We're gonna say that Whist and Rosette both arrive at about the same-ish time. And we have Feyre, Clint, and Ashley all on the roof of the opposite building, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. You see that the area in front of the tavern has turned into a crime scene. You see there are bodies littered in the area, some of them with tarps thrown over, with other city guards slowly covering the rest of them. You see there is Griffin Cavalry that have arrived and have taken charge of the investigation. There's a crowd around the area, all like whispering to each other, some looking scared and concerned, others just being more busybodies. Most of them looking very sad at the scene and a lot of confusion of what happened, what actually happened. But it's not hard for you to spot your friends perched on the roof as the two of you kind of meet up right before. Kind of both coming to a stop in the same intersection, I imagine, coming from the different directions.
Rosette will link to Whist if that's who she sees first.
Yeah, Wist is on her way. She's got a very strange cello case looking thing under a billion locks and keys strapped to her back. But she's moving. She's moving.
What happened here?
Wist takes a second, realizes, oh right, it's Rosette. And then replies, there was some sort of explosion. There have already been casualties, so I'm going to take a look at what you might call my patients.
Was anyone at the tavern caught? Looking around, trying to find said tavern owners, party members, whatever you want to refer to them as.
If you're talking about the usual crew, seems that they're alright, but there were others.
Anyone we know?
Wist shrugs, realizes this is probably not a great time to shrug. She tries it anyway, you know. She's got to. And she goes, well, I don't know, Ken. Haven't really seen the rest of them yet. But it was bad enough that Vera sent a nice young gentleman to stay at the clinic for a bit, so it's bad.
Was West allowed onto the crime scene?
She's heading there now, I imagine. Like, I imagine you're talking as we're meeting up.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, mind if I join you?
Of course.
Thanks. And Rosette will kind of twist the ring on her neck, the little knob on it, to shift her outfit into a much more work attire, or something that you can move around in more rather than like her fancier clothes. And pull out a notepad to look more official and try and catch up to West.
Can Feyre spot them as they get close to the crowd?
I have one question for Wist and Rosette. Are you guys trying to be stealthy?
No.
Then
No.
yes. But also, Rosette, as you try to twist your ring around your neck and you try to use that ability, you feel this little coldness tingle on the ring, and your outfit changes. However, the color is slightly off.
That little.
To any other person. For example, if it was blue, they see it as blue. But if it was a specific shade of blue that Rosette purposely
it 100%
chose,
was. It was 100% was.
It's slightly off. Only enough that Rosette would notice. But yes, Feyre, you spot them. Feyre Clinton. And Ashley, I don't know why I almost
Question.
I almost said August.
Question.
What's up? Yes.
Are the two hot lady cops still there?
Yes, they are. Their investigation
Okay.
has begun. This is their investigation.
I imagine Farah, as soon as she spots them, she's gonna like pull at like Clint's coat and like motion. Hey, maybe you can throw something down at them and get them to look up here.
Clint smiles
shoot
and just
them.
goes, I gotcha. And he is going to shoot his grappling hook somewhere vaguely above the heads of the two approaching women. Not the cops, the party members.
So
And he is going to shoot himself at them.
Oh my god. Just starts to fly off the roof, and then there's just like, Clint, no. Oh, fucking hell.
And what were you expecting exactly?
I said throw something. I didn't say shoot anything.
You know who you're talking to.
I have hopes.
Why do you still have hopes at this point? You should stop that.
Ugh.
Just so I know this, Clint, you essentially are shooting yourself via grappling hook at them.
Yes.
Okay, understood. Have a nice time. You do attract attention of like almost everyone, though.
Yeah, just
Dang.
immediately Farah is down, hidden behind the lip of the roof again.
Yep.
The two lady cops just look at Clint on the way down and then just look at each other. One of them nods to Clint in Clint's direction, the other just shakes her head. And then the one who nodded in Clint's direction just shrugs and then continues petting the griffin that's laying down beside them. They're minding their own business for now. But Clint, you drop down, and West and Rosette, the two of you are interrupted.
Hold on, here it is.
So he's like basically just swinging in or like catapulting himself, right?
The word I would use to describe Clint in this moment is careening.
Okay, that's a good word. Wisteria will pause for a moment, a very Wisteria look on her face, and then just quietly move to the side, remembering her lessons in ducking and weaving from earlier in the day.
Rosette'll kind of twist out of the way. Well, actually, can I help with this? You said he's careening, right?
Through the air.
Yeah. Is this a touch spell? No! Featherfall!
Yay!
Oh, you're gonna make him slow to a crawl.
And now the onlookers can just watch Clint slowly descend.
He slow-mos down. He's like flying in slow motion.
Just, he's zipping really, really happily through the air, and then he starts to slow to a crawl, and he's like, What? Huh. And just gently floats forward at you both. Like a slowly deflating helium balloon.
Watching Superman at like 0.1 speed.
Rosetta will pat his shoulder when he lands.
He slowly drifts down until he is completely on the ground. Like, on the ground bodily.
On
And
his-
he will slowly stand up. Hello. Feyre said to come get you. So here I am.
That was a good
Thank
trick.
you. Thank you for the warm greeting.
When he says Feyre, by the way, he points to the top of the roof where Feyre is.
You do not see Feyre or Ashley.
Everyone who is watching Clint slowly descend and look up as he points.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's no one, actually. There's nothing up there.
Wist will check him over to see if he's got any sort of injury, and then looks to him and goes, "All right, two things. First, where are the victims?"
It's also worth noting that Clint is wearing a monocle. When you say where are the victims, Clint will turn around and he puts like hands on his hips and kind of scrunches his lip and points. And he's like, there's a little over there and a little over there and some over there. They're all over the place.
Wist
You know,
will
bombs.
sigh very deeply and just looks around, crestfallen look. So, there's nobody?
Oh no, there's 11 people. Oh, there were.
But there's nobody worth treating?
He thinks about it. Dan?
Everyone is dead.
Clint, like, rubs his chin for a second. Goes, no. Bunch of scared folks. Nervous running around in bunch and, you know, explosions and all that. Unsettled people. And then there's, the dead ones.
Wist lets out a sigh, and her face scrunches, and she's very sad. Well, I made a promise, so I'll be seeing to what I can for the bodies. In the meantime, I found this from a deal. Somebody gave it to me. Perhaps you and the others might enjoy poking at it. Some kind of sword. She hands him the case.
What? This? You said it looks like an instrument case?
Yeah. It's like
It's-
not like a cello case. I'm thinking more woodwind instruments, like more akin to like, I don't know, the size and shape of like a trombone case, but rather than having that like rounded end, it's still rectangular.
Clint looks at it and he tilts his head. Is it chained up like?
Yes, it's locked up harder than fucking Alcatraz. All right, there are chains and so many padlocks and rope and adhesives. This thing is locked up and sealed, like someone never wanted to see it again, or never wanted it to see the light of day again.
It's a rogue fidget toy.
Clint,
Yeah, you can Clint.
like
What's your sleight of hand?
Clint's sleight of hand is his sleight of hand is 11.
All right. So, Clint, looking at this, you see so many different locks, so many different things. You can guess that it would take one skilled person like a day or two, probably like 2 days, just to slowly but surely take off every single little bit, sealing this thing. But, you know, a group? Probably like a good solid 6-8 hours. They work
But-
together and are a cohesive team.
Mm-hmm. Clank looks at it and then tilts his head, and he'll, like, just... He looks at Wisteria and just goes, "Why'd you lock it up so tight? Do you have the keys, and scissors, and also anti-adhesive?"
No, this was, like I said, somebody paid me, and so I didn't have anything. Well, you see, she has a bit of an issue around blood, and this sword, from what she was saying, it functions on blood, demon blood in particular.
Clint just, like, tilts his head and just goes, "Demon blood? Where are we gonna get demon blood? Wait, this is a sword. Why is it in a box? Sword's supposed to be in sheaths."
It might be in a sheath inside the box, Wisteria offers.
"That's silly." And he just dismissively waves and will pick up the box and, like, look down it like it's a pool cue. And he's just examining it awkwardly.
Wist will let him have this and quietly go off to go check on the remains, as she promised she would.
Okay, Wist. As you approach the crime scene, you are halted by some city guard who very kindly yet firmly state that please don't interfere with the crime scene while there's an active investigation going on.
Oh, perhaps I could help. You see, I'm a doctor.
They look at you. And does she have her doctor coat on?
Yeah, I imagine she would, because she came right from the clinic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, are you? Do you specialize in cadavers, or?
Well, strictly speaking, I specialize in fae, but I can do just about anything. I've been around quite some time, learned a few tricks. You see, what happened was I made a promise that I would do what I could for the victims here, meaning I've got to take a look at the bodies. I'm obligated, you understand.
Can I help here? That is acceptable.
Yeah, sure. But how are you helping?
Rosette will, cause like she kind of wanted to come in with Wisteria anyways to give her a hand. She'll write. She specializes in magic. In things affected by magic. She comes recommended by these by the Leviers as well as other noble families. She's 100% lying. Well, I mean, it's.
I mean, she's not.
half-truths.
Rosette.
It's half
her.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's half truth.
Technically, it's not a lie because Rosette is a Levier, and then another noble could be Ashley.
And also, she does technically specialize in magic. She's
She
helping with
does.
that stuff.
Exactly. That is in fact her specialty. None of it is a lie. Whist, you can roll me persuasion with advantage.
Persuasion with advantage. Wisteria, what have you got here? Oh!
What you got?
I've got a 1. That's what I've got, Chief.
You got advantage, right?
All right, let's see what we got here. A 19's not bad.
Okay. So
Hey.
you say this. Rosette comes in, vouching for you. And you see the guard kind of lets out a sigh. And he kind of like leans and kind of shifts his feet to one foot. He kind of tilts his head and says, Alright, so you can. I can't let you on without the investigator's permission, so you can talk to them and see if they'll let you poke around. Points to the two women chilling by a griffin.
Wisteria will nod. Thank you. You've been very kind. And she will, still somewhat shaking a little bit. This is not her wheelhouse. Will also nod to Rosette and thanks, and start heading over to the investigators.
Okay. Fair.
Rosette will
Actually,
pat her
Clint,
shoulder.
you guys see that Wist and Rosette are gonna go talk to the cops.
Clint is standing like 100 yards behind them. He hasn't moved. He is fiddling with the box.
The fidget toy.
The fidget toy.
You gave him the box, so he's gonna fuck with the box. He's not gonna be able to open it on his own, but he's playing with the locks and fiddling with the tape.
You really gave him a fidget toy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I love that this is a rogue fidget toy.
Okay, Faye or Ashley, you guys doing anything while you see Clint has been distracted by this box with lots of locks? You see Wist and Rosette approaching, having been let into the crime scene via guard, and they are approaching the two investigators.
Figure doesn't like that. She's especially since like Clint like pointed in their direction already. Feyre is impatient currently, so Feyre is going to make the dumb decision. Feyre's just gonna start heading in the direction that she wants to go. Bye.
In which direction is that?
Towards Seaward.
Ah,
Hmm?
I see. Is it split the party time?
I don't split the party very often, but these two decided to go talk to the cops, and Feyre is a rogue and a street urchin. That's a hard no.
Contractually obligated.
Mm-hmm.
She promised.
I was fully preparing for Clint to say, "Oh, by the way, don't talk to those cops over there." But you gave him the box, and now he's distracted by the box.
Alright, Ashley, what are you doing? You see Feyre starts making her way,
Downtown.
walking fast.
Eating ass.
Piper?
You're muted in Discord, Piper, if you're trying to talk. I think we lost a Piper.
Oh no.
She's dead, Jim.
F's in chat.
Well, Feyre's head down on her own.
Alright, we shall see if Ashley follows or not later. But Feyre, you make your way. You know a direction. You're taking that direction. Away from the cops who are in front of your fucking house. How fucking dare they? Oh, do we have a Viper?
Hello, back from groceries.
Hello!
Did I miss anything specific?
Yes.
What was the last thing you heard?
Everybody was cringing over Clint like sailing down and getting further called.
Ah.
You missed a lot.
Okay.
TLDR.
made it
Whisk
the
gave
first.
Whisk gave Clint the box with a lot of locks. That's Rogue Fidget Toy for Clint. He is thoroughly distracted by the box. Whisk and Rosette approach guard because Whisk is contractually obligated to go check the bodies. They persuade the guard, and he says you gotta go talk to the investigators to see if they're gonna let you poke around the body. But they let her in to go talk to them instead of just telling her to, like, stand aside. Feyre sees this, does not like this, starts making her way towards Seaward. Ashley is on the roof with Feyre. What's Ashley doing?
Observing the proceedings.
Alright, so he's staying or is he going to Feyre?
I'm going with Farah, yeah.
Okay, so Ashley and Feyre both make their way away towards Seaward in the same direction they are pretty sure the perpetrator went.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys are going to get your own little duo adventure. And we are going to go to Whist and Rosette. You approach these two guards. Clint, how distracted are you?
He's not moving.
Okay.
He is going to stand there until dark.
Oh my god.
He doesn't need to eat or breathe. He's just gonna hang out there.
They're gonna see him. They're gonna be like, man, that guy really was traumatized by the blast, huh?
What's he doing with that box?
This is like somebody handed Evie a fishing tackle.
Yeah.
She's going to the nearest body of water and you're not moving her.
Neurospicy behavior. Anyway, Rosette and Whist, you make your way to two investigators who are both talking. One of them is taking notes. The blonde one. She has her own kind of pad and paper that she's writing in as she converses with the red-headed woman who is talking with her and also absentmindedly petting the griffin that is laying on the ground beside them. But they stop talking as they see you approach. They turn. They look at you. It's not unfriendly, but it's very much a like, oh, hello.
If Rosette doesn't start talking, Whist is going to spill spaghetti everywhere. So,
Okay, Rosette will. Rosette will give a, put her hand to her chest and give a slight bow. And begin writing. Hello there. We are here to assist with, or we are here to lend our assistance in analyzing the bodies. This here is Dr. Wisteria Nightshade. She specializes in those affected by magic, cadavers or otherwise, and she comes highly recommended. We'd like to lend any assistance you may need or see if we can help. Smile.
Alright, roll me a persuasion.
There's my D20.
What is it?
That is a 4
if
plus
Wisteria...
9.
Oh, if Wisteria helps, can we get advantage again?
Yes, however, you must... Wait, what is the help?
Wisteria, as Rosette is holding up this sign, produces her medical kit and holds it up and goes, you see, I came prepared. I'm contractually obligated to go look at those bodies. I'm extremely experienced. Got about a couple millennia of experience, actually.
You see that they kind of look at each other. Before I look back at you guys. And you can roll again with advantage.
That is a 16 plus 9. So that's 19,
25.
25.
Okay. So it's showing her little kit. They kind of look at her and see. They hear this little smart comment of, like, several millennia, actually. And that kind of makes the redheaded one kind of, edge of her lip kind of quirks up a bit. And she kind of gives it to you. Smile. It's a pleasure to meet you. I wish we could meet under better circumstances, but I do have to ask, what do you mean contractually obligated?
Well, I promised to do what I could for the victims. However, I understand that they didn't make it. But as you're probably aware, I've got to keep any promises I make.
I see. Well, unfortunately, you aren't a doctor that we're partnered with, so I can't let you just go off and investigate the bodies on your own. However, what I can do is accompany you so you can fulfill your contractual obligation, and maybe you can even shed some insight in something we haven't already discovered.
Wist will nod and bow, and the bow is a little. You would think that she's figured out how to do this at this point. She hasn't. She's not. It's a little too fast, a little too jerky, and when she comes back up, the stuff in her box clatters. I will not be any trouble. Sorry about all this. You've been very understanding.
Look of concern at the box clattering, but just, like, nods and smiles in a reassuring way of, like, a please calm down.
Rosette will add to this a little bit. We're happy to do our part for the city.
And she nods. It's like, all right, well, we can leave Gray here to do all the boring paperwork and note taking, and we can go take a look at the bodies. She introduces herself, holding out a hand. Name's Griffin, by the way. You can call me Griff. The name is a pure coincidence.
Wisteria, I imagine that she reaches out to do a handshake, but as she does, she kind of looks out the side of her eye to Rosette as a, yeah? Is this, yeah?
Small nod of the head and a small smile.
Wisteria shakes.
As you guys shaking your hands, you hear the other woman, now named Gray, kind of pipe up as she continues writing. You do realize that if they find out you're letting civilians on the scene, we're both gonna get in trouble, right? And you see Griffin just kind of waves a hand. It's like, and they're only gonna be here for a minute. It's fine. They're consultants, professional ones with credentials. You can write that down. You can see Gray just shakes her head as she writes it down. It's like, all right, fucking fine. But you get led to the bodies. And Whist, it's not hard to find the ones that your new friend was talking about. There's a little group of 4 halflings that are not a pretty sight. They're charred and injured. And that's just the bits that you can see poking out from beneath the tarp that's been placed over them.
So Wisteria looks at them and she knows immediately, of course.
Mm-hmm.
She lets out another very sad sound and just quietly moves over the bodies and says some sort of blessing. And there's a sort of weight that comes off of her shoulder as she does this, but it's a different sort of weight that takes its place. Being, as a doctor, you deal with a lot of death. As a fae, you don't necessarily. So it's still sometimes a strange thing to be confronted with it so directly and in such a gruesome fashion. And she will try and see if she can glean anything. Probably not, but always worth a shot. Can I make a medicine check, God?
You can if you'd like.
Alright. Normal. Medicine. 21. They're dead, Jim.
Yeah, they're very dead. Cause of death, fire, explosion, burning. It was not the fastest death, but it could have been a lot worse.
She will process this for a second. Oh, it could have been worse, but it was not good for them. I hope they can find peace now, wherever it is that they've gone. They seemed good people.
You can see that Griffin kind of does a prayer herself, very quietly.
Is there anything else that we can glean while we're here? Or should we just head back?
Nothing more that wasn't already discovered.
All right. Wisteria will then bow to the guard. Thank you for allowing me here. I've fulfilled my obligation, so we needn't linger.
Can I ask a question, actually?
What's up?
This will be in character.
Okay.
Well, actually, first out of character.
Mm-hmm.
How many people were towards the center of the fireball? Like, how many bodies were? Versus, like, I assume
5.
the out... 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And which 5 were those again?
Those were the ones in leather armor and the dwarf in a cloak.
Okay.
The 4 that we have that we're pretty sure isn't, and then one that we assumed to be Beholder one. Xanathar Guild. Because
Okay.
it is a very loose assumption currently, but sewer mud.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, in character.
Mhm.
No, this might be a bit presumptuous to ask, but has there been a motive, or yeah, has there been a motive thus far?
She kind of sighs and shifts her weight a bit, resting her hand on the hilt of her long sword that she has on her hip. Well, unfortunately, most of these deaths were, from what we can gather, accidental. They weren't the intended target.
Mm. Who do you know who was the intended target? I'm saying I see multiple there, but
She kind of looks at Rosette. I don't think I ever got your name, actually.
Rhea.
Whist looks at Rosette, sweating.
Oh no.
She doesn't say
Forgot
anything,
about that.
but she is sweating.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Okay, I'm very sorry. For context, for Kira, the face claim she's using for Rosette was a character in another campaign named Rhea.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Am I missing something?
Sorry, I was talking to
Whist
my
is a
husband for a
bad
second.
liar.
Whist is a very bad liar.
Oh, okay.
And uncomfortable
Yeah.
around lying. So she's just here sweating. She's like,
Mhm.
don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything.
She holds her hand out. Yeah, she'll be like, my apologies, it's Rhea.
Take the hand with a polite and firm shake. Right. So, I'm not really supposed to share this details with an ongoing investigation with civilians, unfortunately. But are you local to the area?
Yes. Yeah, let me think of how I'm gonna word this. Yes, I work with some of the business owners in the area, and I'm not gonna spread any rumors or anything, but just needed to be aware if it was if gang violence or any type of trouble nearby. Just want to assure the the owners that there's nothing to worry about. It's just a strange accident,
I'll give you a choice. Roll me persuasion or deception.
I'll take persuasion.
Okay. Because you're not technically lying. However, it's very untruthful.
Mhm. That is a 10
Total?
plus my
Plus what?
19. Plus 9.
Jesus. Fucking rogues. Okay.
Expertise.
Yeah. She hesitates for a second, kind of looking up at the buildings around. What if we do a little bit of a trade?
Oh. She kind of raises her eyebrow.
Well, you say you're close to the business owners around here. I've been trying to find the owners of the Trollskull Manor for a bit now to ask them some questions. So if you could
Nope.
find them and send them my way, or set up a meeting at some point, then I can tell you a bit of what we found.
That sounds fair enough. Or I have to ask, so are they in trouble? Were they part of this?
As far as I'm aware, no. But investigation isn't exactly over yet, so I can't say for certain.
That's fair. I've met them a few times. They seem like good people.
I'm sure they are.
I would be so heartbroken if they were part of this in some way.
I'm hoping it's just a case of unfortunate timing and happenstance, but you can never be too careful, especially with, well, what I'm pretty sure is happening here. So, do we have a deal? You can arrange a meeting time for me and all the owners at some point?
Yes, of course. I will speak to them as soon as I can get in contact with them. She kind of looks at the tavern. It's like obviously they don't seem to be here currently. They were probably closed. I know they have a later opening than most people, or than most taverns in the area.
And very understandable. I'm sure they're quite a bit worried or shaken.
I do have one last question. There wasn't anyone important in this, was there? Anyone notable?
She kind of hesitates, and there's like a shift in her eye as it kind of darts to one side before meeting back to Rosette. It depends on who you view as notable, if that's positive or negative.
I guess it does depend on who you're asking.
There's someone that is tied to some nobility of sorts involved here. We're still trying to figure out exactly why, but, well, surprised he's even here.
Nobility. She puts her hand through her mouth and like a, oh my gosh, and gives a that's horrible kind of look. Like, oh no.
And she just nods.
Thank you so much for your time and your help, officer. I will try my hardest to get that meeting where you set up, okay?
And I am a woman of my word. If you can get me a meeting with them, I will give you a rundown of what we found.
Thank you. Very bright smile. Not overly happy though, because this is a morbid situation.
You see a very hopeful smile a little sad around the edges, considering all the death.
Yeah.
She bids the two of you a farewell.
Whist manages to keep it together, but the second that they are behind a door, out of eyeshot, she just lets out the biggest breath in the world.
Walk away from the crime scene, turn a corner, go back to Clint with his box.
You've got to warn me when you do that. That was what? It was so hard not to say anything. How can you? It just rolled off your tongue like water off a duck's back.
Well, good job holding your tongue there, for one. She pats her on the shoulder. And two, I've been at this for a very long time.
Whist looks like she has just run a marathon.
Don't worry, Rhea is just a name I use when I don't want my actual name. I'm not supposed to be here, technically.
You're not supposed. Whist just pauses for a second. Well, thank you for the help.
It's no problem. Thank you for the help getting me that in.
But I was just doing my job.
Exactly.
Whist, much like Clint, has entered still mode, but because she is trying to contemplate the web that she has fallen into.
Clint, that box. What a good box.
I care not for the morals of the box. I simply want to open the box.
It clicks, blocks, pristine sounds. Those are some pretty cool locks. Some of them are like really high quality too.
I believe it. I'm willing to believe this box and the box locks upon the box are quite pristine and very secure. What I want is to open the locks on the box.
Gonna take time.
I'm fully prepared to have Clint waste several hours until someone taps him on the shoulder and be like, dude. And he's like, oh, what was I doing?
Clint? Clint?
He blinks and just turns around. What? Huh?
You good?
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing great, actually. Tilts the box again. This thing is a piece of work.
We just got done investigating the crime scene.
Oh, you did? Well, who did it? Did you figure that out? Or do we need to go somewhere else and investigate more?
We haven't figured it out quite yet, but if I can find... You said Farah was over there?
He looks up at the roof and just goes, yeah, Farah's up there, I think? He points to the roof where she was.
Well, we need to talk to them so we can have a meeting with these investigators.
I got it. And he'll zip line up there.
Just blinking outline. There is nothing there.
Perfect. Just beep, beep, beep. Blinks like, what? Puts his hands on his hips, standing on the top of the roof. Is Farah in sight? While standing on top of the roof, can he see Farah?
I feel like that's a DM question.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's been a few minutes. The roof isn't that tall. It's like 2 stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like if me and Farah just went to go
Yeah,
go
I feel
hunting,
like
we're probably long gone.
yeah. I think they're long gone. However, I'll remind you, you guys did purchase certain important things.
Oh yeah, we have
Mhm.
sending stones. We have telephone.
Clint just blinks and scratches his chin.
The
And,
question
he
is,
puts
does
his
Clint
hand-
remember that?
Joe did not remember that, but now that Joe knows, Clint will put his hand on his hip for a second and then accidentally bump into the sending stone that's in his pocket. Who forgot? Who knew? Whoa, what a coincidence. And he'll just go, oh. And then he'll pull out the sending stone. And he will radio in to Farah. Hello, is this thing on? How do I make sure this thing is on? Farah, can you hear this?
Here's a.
Can I hear that?
You know what? I think it would be fun. I gave this to my last party. Fuck it. Connected. Unless you... I feel like it's your choice. It's either connected or group call.
Okay.
But I feel like Clint just accidentally hit the call all button.
So everyone hears Clint's message.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's fine with me. He just stares at the rock, just waiting for Farah to reply.
Feyre is like, there's a moment of silence before Feyre responds. You just talking to it and see if somebody responds. That's how you know it's on.
Oh, good to know. Hey, where did you go? You're not on the roof anymore.
I'm heading after whoever threw fucking fireballs in the middle of our street. Ashley.
I'm here too.
What should I be doing?
There's no response from Feyre
There's
because fuck if
nothing.
she knows.
There's nothing on my end.
Oh. Clint looks at the rock, shakes it a little bit.
Were you able to contact them?
Well, you guys could hear it too, because you have the sending stones as well.
Do
Right.
we? I didn't know if we did or not.
That was on the session. They weren't there.
Would we
How
not
many-
get sending stones for everyone?
How many did y'all buy?
Enough.
I
Smile.
figured we just bought them for everyone. I didn't write it down.
Ah, curse you all in your no notes.
What do you mean no notes? I've got notes right here in Gone Note Taking.
That's true. Thank you very much. I feel like yes. However, you guys just bought them. So did you leave them with Clint to give to them? Does Clint just like speak into it and hear in his bag his own voice?
We can do that. That's pretty funny.
Clint will hear he'll reach into his bag and pull out the other two rocks, and then zip back down to the rest of the group and be like, "Hey, I think these are yours because the other two have theirs and I have mine." He's just waving the rock around.
Wist looks up from her trance. A rock?
It's a talk rock.
A talk rock?
He hands it to you, put it in your hand.
Wist holds rock.
And then he'll hold the microphone. He'll hold the rock microphone up to his mouth and be like, I am talking to you, Wist. Through the rock now.
His voice comes through the rock, and Wist just goes, ah. That's pretty useful, isn't it?
Yeah. And the best part is all of our conversations are heard by everyone. With us, with the rock.
Fair, hearing Whist will finally answer again. Oh, Whist, did a little short brown-haired boy manage to make it all the way to your shop?
Oh, yes, the young gentleman. He's, minding the clinic at present. I gave him leave to use whatever language he wanted in turning folk away.
Oh boy.
Rosette will take the sending stone if Clint is giving it to her.
Yeah.
She'll look at it. She'll look at it and be like, Clint, can you please tell Ashley and Farah that I need to speak with them and they need to come back?
I think they can hear you, lass. Because I'm holding it.
It does communicate your thoughts, doesn't it?
Is it thoughts?
Or
I thought it was voice.
oh, no. So mechanically you talk to it, but it translates 25 words or less to the mind of the person you're sending it to. So they hear your words in their head.
All right, so that was
Yes.
a pure fuck up. My bad.
No.
it's-
But
We're
fucking
being
Rosette can't
loose.
use it.
We're being loose with the rules because technically it's like one cast of sending a day or some shit.
Right.
But I'm just using it as just
I
like,
didn't
all
know that.
right. Oh yeah, it's one cast of sending until the next dawn.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'm being pretty loose with it. It's essentially just walkie talkies because I think that's more fun, and I want you guys to actually use it rather than like try and save that one use, and never use it.
The thing I'm understanding though is
Mhm.
you speak into it and it
Yeah.
gets transferred to thoughts. So Rosette can hear through it. She just can't communicate through it.
I'd realized that the moment I said talk.
Yeah, that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wisteria doesn't say that.
Clint like looks at Rosette and he's just like, oh. And then he'll talk into the rock and he'll be like, hey, Rosette wants to know. What does you want to know?
I need them to come back here. We need to have a meeting with the officers. They'll give us
Rosette
more
says
information.
that we need to have a meeting with the officers and that you both should come back here to do that. I don't think that's such a great idea because I don't really like coppers. But that's just me.
If we
It
stop
doesn't-
now, we're gonna lose the guy's trail.
Yeah,
Yes.
you guys may not know this, but we do know what was used, how many was used, and the direction they were going in. So, we have some information that we are pursuing already. You do realize that for most of this little group of weirdos that we have collected, talking to the cops is not a good idea.
How so?
Wisteria also, why not?
We haven't done anything wrong.
I do plenty of stuff wrong. But doesn't say
But-
that, like, using the stone, he just says that to Rosette.
Not in this case.
Oh, yeah, but I don't like talking to cops on the principle of they'll probably want to figure out if I did something else wrong.
Well, I was hoping to have either Ashley or Feyre for this conversation
told
in
a lie.
particular.
And just looks at Wisteria and just shrugs.
How dare you, Rose? You should know better than that.
But if none of yous come to help, then she'll have broken a contract, and well, I don't think that affects you the way that it affects me, but it's not good. She said that she would set up a meeting with some of the owners. So there's a pause, and then wait, Clint,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Clint, aren't you an owner?
I am. He looks a little proud.
Couldn't we march him over?
I'm on my way.
Thank you.
The party at the thought of Clint having to represent the fucking tavern. It's like, nope, not doing that.
Ashley, or Rosette was thinking like 5 steps ahead. Like, I know.
We'll say something next time.
I missed it because I had to talk to my husband for a second. What just happened?
Nothing at all.
Clint would be happy to represent the group and guild of the Troll Skull, Mana, Dog,
Whisk
and Pock.
Whist remembered that Clint was technically an owner, and when Clint said, yes, I am an owner, Ashley immediately is like, I'm coming back.
Yeah, that tracks. He is. I was waiting for someone to mention that Clint is also an owner.
I did know, but I wanted it to come up, like, genuinely. And
Yeah.
I'm glad it did.
Rosette 100% knew.
Whis does have a wisdom score sometimes.
Clint doesn't.
And by the way, Wisteria, it wasn't a promise. I said if I could, I would. And if I did, you would give me information in return. It's not binding. Even if I were in your situation, it would not be binding.
There's a pause as she considers this, and then Wisteria's eyes kind of go big with admiration. Oh, you are good at this.
Oh my god. Whist is like, you did a Fae!
That's exactly it.
Rosette just smiles and nods her head in thanks. You can.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can let Ashley know they don't suspect the owners. They just want a meeting to clarify some things. They have information to give if I could set up a meeting with some of you. Just trying to
Understood.
share information. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing else.
Okay. I'm on my way. Don't let him anywhere near those cops.
As the cops are on their way.
Oh, shit, man.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, this is perfect. It's on brand. Alright, so Ashley's on his way back. Is Feyre on her way back as well, or is she just continuing?
She's continuing. Feyre has absolutely no desire to talk to the cops. She will let Clint talk to the cops and represent the bar before she talks to the cops.
Okay. Alright, so Ashley, you're on your way back. Everyone has their shiny new walkie-talkie sending stones on them. And that is where we are going to end the session.
Sounds good to me.
Good session.